This news update is brought to you by
I won for me to me.
For me?
You don't need speakers, right?
Upgrade to win every week with Lime. Sign up for Lime TV or broadband or purchase an iPhone 6 or Samsung Note 4. Upgrade Christmas with Lime.
Welcome to the Barbados Today afternoon update. It's Tuesday, December 23rd, 2014. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Get your house in order. Economist Ryan Strawn tells the government to fast-track and implement measures to turn around the economy. He cautions that failure to act will result in more downgrades, which the island can ill afford. His comments come as Standard & Poor's lowered the island's long-term sovereign rating to B from BB- and projected further economic decline. In an interview with Barbados Today, Strawn raised concern that government's decision to extend the tax measures until April 2016 is evidence that it did not meet its fiscal target. He says this puts a damper on growth.
Businesses are still struggling in this environment. So unless there is, I bet you they would have articulated, unless the implementation of a number of those projects actually come on stream. I think a lot has hinged on that. We have had several projects announced, and you realize that in the recent ministerial statement there were pretty much, the list was pretty much a new list. And if those projects suffer the same fate in terms of the inability to bring, not just to start the project, but to actually create momentum and move forward, then there's not likely to be the kind of growth.
Meanwhile, leading British investor Stuart Fordham suggests that Barbados should not be overly perturbed about Standard & Poor's latest downgrade. He contends S&P does not have a spotless record and appears to have an axe to grind.
S&P have an outstanding lawsuit with the Justice Department where they are currently being sued for $5 billion for their handling of the subprime crisis throughout the years 2007-2008. And during that period, clearly they had a process of being far too conservative and looking at these particular types of loans and issues with rose-tinted glasses. Where I feel this makes relevant sense to Barbados now is I feel that they have flip-flopped. They've gone from a position of being far too conservative to now being far too penal.
Police are reporting a 15% drop in crime, but the nation's top cop serves notice the force will be redoubling its efforts to make it more difficult for those bent on engaging in crime. In his Christmas Day message, Acting Commissioner Tyrone Griffith also pledged that lawmen will be stepping up efforts to engage communities more, particularly those troubled by criminal activity. During the holidays, the police urged the public to avoid the vulnerable situations, and he called on the business community to ensure their premises are fully secured. In other news, a strong statement from the Barbados Employers Confederation on the heels of resignation of the Employers' Rights Tribunal. In a clear the air statement, the body, which had 3 employers' representatives on the tribunal, said they had no choice but to go after receiving directives from Labour Minister Dr. Esther Bayasuku. According to the BEC, the Labour Minister does not have any power to direct the tribunal, and such action severely jeopardizes the integrity of the tribunal. The BEC says it's pleased to finalize critical operational procedures for the tribunal were repeatedly ignored, and it rejected suggestions that it should mimic the operations of the National Insurance Tribunals. The employers' body will soon begin nominating its representatives to the new tribunal, and it's expecting to complete the process by January 30 next year. A male employee of the Ministry of Transport and Works is safe and sound this morning after a mishap on Spring Garden Highway last evening. The worker, who declined to share his name with Barbados Today, was operating a caterpillar clearing drains when the vehicle fell into a sinkhole. As he tried to escape, the caterpillar only sank deeper into the hole. But thanks to the efforts of personnel from C.O. Williams Construction Company, the man was rescued just after midnight, and we're glad that he's safe.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Hi, I'm Red Plastic Bag. Anyone who knows me knows I don't like cold. Sunshine reigns in my country. I love it.
Get your sun power.
To news from the region, all is not well at some hospitals in Guyana as nurses in West Demerara stage a sick-out over non-payment of wages and salaries. And there's report that their colleagues in the capital will soon follow suit. More in this report from Capital News.
The Guyana Public Service Union said it is not aware of any plans by nurses of the West Demerara Hospital or regional healthcare facilities to report sick for duty. Guyana Public Service Union Industrial Relations Officer German Hermanstein spoke with the media.
Well, I'm not aware of that. What I will say is that the nurses who are sick, from a union perspective, we wish them a speedy recovery.
According to him, the union has been in regular contact with its members, who are all frustrated at government's refusal to pay them a livable wage.
They recognize that this issue of this 5 and 8% imposition, it has nothing to do with politics. This is a bread and butter issue and cuts across religion, political affiliation, and all of that. So people are eager to respond.
On the international scene, officials are trying to find out who unplugged North Korea yesterday. According to Dean Research, a company that monitors internet performance, the entire country lost internet service for about 9 hours, and there's not much improvement today. The disruption came amid an escalating war of words between the United States and North Korea over a massive cyber attack on Sony Pictures.
Just until about 4 years ago, North Koreans actually had to dial into servers here in Shenyang, China, just to go online. Today, they have very limited internet connectivity, only about 1,000 known IP addresses. Compare that to 1.5 billion IP addresses in the United States. Keep in mind, though, you can connect a lot of devices to a single IP address, but we know for a fact that only a handful of people, you're talking top government officials, and the most elite in Pyongyang have actually been on the internet. The average North Korean doesn't even own a computer, and they might have limited access to the intranet, about 5,000 or so strictly controlled government websites. Here in China, though, there's new scrutiny about North Koreans using the internet, and specifically here in Shenyang, where there's a very strong North Korean presence, including this restaurant, the Pyongyang restaurant, which is actually owned by the North Korean government. Investigators believe that North Koreans have been utilizing Chinese servers, and perhaps hackers have even crossed into China to launch cyber attacks like the one on Sony. The reason for doing that is simple: much more bandwidth available, and also cover, because you couldn't be able to directly link the attack to North Korea if it was launched from a country like here in China. That's why the United States is asking the Chinese government for help as they continue investigating North Korea and its alleged role in the cyber attack.
That's our afternoon update, but you can join us again this evening. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune in to Channel 101 on Lime TV to get all your latest news and sports. I'm Fernella Wedderburn. To continue to enjoy your day.
This news update is brought to you by...
You got an upgrade for Christmas.
If you're feeling lucky, you could win some money.
Upgrade for Christmas.
$200,000 in cash and prizes. With Lime, you could win some money. It's Lime's Christmas lottery. 250 winners this Christmas, oh yeah.
Sign up or upgrade to super fast broadband, Lime TV, e-billing, a data plan. Top up $15. Purchase a handset or text 4263 to enter.
Upgrade for Christmas.